My guest on the podcast this time out is Ryan McPhail. Ryan grew up in Dundee, close mates with Kyle Faulkner, was there at the start of the journey of The View and all the way through the first album and most of the second album. He tells tales of debauchery with The View, hanging about with Peter Doherty, and was responsible for 4 out of 5 of The View's most rock and roll moments. Ryan did all sorts for the band, from roadieing, artwork, general looking after the band back then. Once his time with the band came to an end, Ryan used his artwork skills in the film industry. If you check out his profile on IMDb, you'll be amazed at the amount of hit films that he's worked on. As well as that, Ryan was involved in the London terror attacks in Borough Market, which he also touches on. Nearly 2 hours in an interview, absolute class. Brilliant chat with the guy, and he's got an exhibition coming up this year. He's going to be doing a lot more artwork, and it all kicks off this year, 2025, so stay tuned, check out all his links and keep in touch with him for the exhibition and whatever else is coming. But please keep liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. Tell your pals about the podcast, but more importantly, enjoy. On the podcast this time out, I've got Ryan McPhail, RMC. Been trying to get him on the podcast right from the beginning. Been talking to him for about 4 years on Instagram, and he's finally reached out and come on. He's going to tell us all about his kind of career, which started out doing the artwork for the View. He was there kind of right at the beginning of The View. And he's able to kind of tell us The View's story for his angle. From then on, he's went on to have a career with artwork, and as well as that, he's been doing some stuff with film. And we're going to touch on all of that, plus a whole lot more, I'd imagine. But what I like to do at the start line is right back to the start. What was life like for a young Ryan McPhail growing up?
Good morning, Martin. Thank you for having me on, mate. Appreciate it, taking the time. For myself as a youngster, I was brought up in a place called the Hilltown area of Dundee, which is 10-15 minutes from the city centre there. And I was there for most of my childhood, really. We grew up there, and it was sort of like a poverty-ridden area, but we had a nice house in that area. A lot going on with like drug addiction and poverty around there.
Mm-hmm.
So we lived there for a wee while. We moved from flat to flat, and then we finally got a nicer house on Cotton Road, which was in walking distance to my primary school, really. And we were there for about 15 years, I think. With the usual carry-ons, mate, with addiction and that. There was a lot of needles in the area. A lot of violence, really. So a lot of fights and stuff growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it was all right for us, to be honest. We never realised, because we were surrounded by it, we never really realised what it was until we moved away from that area. And then you look back and you realise it was something special, really, to be honest.
Yeah. So how did you meet the boys then? What happened? Was that in school?
So firstly I met Kyle in first year, I think. I was in a class, I was in another sort of class from him, and I got moved for my behaviour, I think, into Kyle's class. And I always remember he was up the back singing at some point, was on his PC and that, singing and dancing and whatnot. And I was there for the rest of my high school years, and we just sort of bonded there, become very good friends.
Right.
Both fancy,
did you have the big hair then?
Did I have the big hair there? I never, Matt. No, I had the short back and sides. I had the short back and sides with a lot of gel on the top, mate. Like, it was solid, it was. Over time.
Obviously, like, if people are familiar with you from The View, they'll know you with the big kind of afro
Big
style
man afro, mate.
hair.
To be to be honest, Matt, when I first met Kyle, I was into my hip hop and my graffiti and my rap music and stuff. And it was only through spending time with the boys in the band that I developed more of a music knowledge, opening my horizons to other sort of guitar music and stuff. And therefore, the jeans got tighter and the hair got bigger, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, because you look a proper. I was watching like all the videos last night, and you look like a proper rock and roll star in them.
Cheers very much, mate. Cheers very much, mate. I guess we were, to be honest. We all thought we were.
And like, so obviously, so what was Kyle like back then? Was like you said you were into your hip hop. I'm pretty sure like he mentioned kind of Eminem was he was big into Eminem back then.
I can only speak from my point of view. Obviously, I've not spoken to Kyle for a few years now. We touched base a bit lockdown time, but from my point of view, I was just sort of breaking through the Eminem thing about we were at 13 first year. Dr. Dre's 2001 wasn't far away from that, I think, and that was just sort of what I was into. My brother-in-law was into graffiti in London and stuff, and he sort of gave me a sort of hip hop influence as well. But upon meeting Kyle, he was listening to all sorts of other things like Fleetwood Mac and that for his side of things. And he's big on the Beatles, I think. He's big on the Beatles. I couldn't quite understand it, to be honest, but he gave me an education. He gave me an education very early on, to be honest.
And so, like, you were there kind of at the start of that. So, how did you, like, for your viewpoint, how did you see the band forming? Was it pretty much just the friend group?
So, what I believe it was just a friend group from school, really. I think they'd done a few bits and pieces together, the talent show. Myself and Kyle actually done a talent show in first year. Dr. Dre and Eminem, Guilty Conscience was the song. Honestly, we practiced in my mum's house in the Halton for what felt like months, mate, over and over again. Kyle was Eminem, I was Dr. Dre. Getting the lines right. The big day came. Kyle done his bit, come to do my bit, and I bottled it. I completely froze in front of the whole school, honestly, mate. So I froze and I basically fucking run off the stage and run right back to the Halton, mate, right to my mum. In tears, I think it was. But sorry, back to that question was. Sorry, what was the question again? I've gone.
Like, how did the band form? Like, for your viewpoint, how did you see them forming?
Sorry, so there was Kyle, Pete, and Webby, and then there was a guy called Bruni as well, Ryan Brown, and he was the original drummer, I think, when they were doing the Kyle and the Casual stuff in high school, I think. And then they just sort of, I think they were playing for time, doing cover bands round about Dundee. And I'm not sure what happened there, I wasn't really involved, but Bruni departed and then Mo became affiliated with the band. And I think that's when we all started congregating in the Bayview down the stairs. It was like a function room type thing, yeah, that Kyle managed to get hold of. And I used to practice in there. I used to just sit there, sketch and skin up. I was just drawing, really. It was just a thing. I was just sitting there comfortable, and I've got some drawings in my mum's now where they were called The Shine back then. I think they were calling themselves The Shine. I've got some original drawings there. I need to show you. And it says, I believe it says, all start The Shine. All started in the Bayview. Where will it end? ... And that was like 2005 or 4, maybe.
Right. And it's pretty quick once you think about it. Like, you're talking 2004, 2005, and then Hats Off came out 2007. So a couple of years of really kind of gigging round about, I'd imagine. What was it like then? Like, were they all in Dryborough?
It was heavy gigging. It was heavy. It was like really living the lifestyle then. Kyle was in Dryborough. Pete's mum was in Dryborough, and Webby's granny was in Dryborough. I think Mo was living along Lochiewa.
It's all. I mean, like, for me as a View fan, like, I've always wanted to go up there and just fucking
wonder a bit.
I wonder a bit, but what's it like? Is it quite rough or what?
Nah, to be like I said, it's just normal. It was just normal for us growing up, mate. It was as rough as any other area. You had your hard men, and you had your fucking drug addicts, and your gangs, your wee groups. I suppose it was a hardy area. Looking back at some of them videos, it looks quite fucking dated. It looks like it's been left behind in the times. But when we were living there, it was just normal for us, to be honest.
I mean, it's just like all the kind of schemes that are ran about.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd say so, mate. I spent some time in Hamilton, and it was very much similar to similar sort of vibe. Really, just made best of what you had, really. To be honest, it was all right. There's lots to do.
And do you think like that kind of, obviously, like I've mentioned when I spoke to the review and kind of other people round a bit, like that kind of group ethic, like obviously you've got the band, but you get yourself running a bit. You had Marco, you had
Boys,
Gypsy, Clarky, all
yeah.
of these boys, even like Kyle's brother Ronnie. Um, all these guys kind of kicking a bit. So do you think at that point it was kind of a concerted effort for everybody? Like, did everybody know how good the band were?
No, well, to be honest, before the band started becoming popular in amongst Dundee and the surrounding areas, so actually, it was just a big gang anyway. It was a big group of guys from Dryborough, Lochee, myself from the Hulton, then moved up to St Mary's, which is closer to Dryborough. Through high school stuff, but all just congregated at the Dryborough shops. So sometimes I'd turn up there and there'd be 30, 40 boys, like, whoa. And Kyle will be in there in the middle, all right, McPhail, wait, come on, meet so-and-so, meet Ronnie, meet. So that's how I sort of got affiliated with the gang as such. And they were always just doing everything together. So when the band sort of started playing their music, they just had to go off and do their thing. The rehearsals, we'd disappear, do that, come back, meet up. So then when they started getting more and more popular, it just became like a mass congregation of everyone. Just gave the boys something to do, to be honest. Like everyone gave us something to do, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah.
We're all coming of age.
I can mind like the first time I seen them at the Barrowlands. I think I got chucked out after a couple of songs. I think I mentioned it to Kyle. I was talking to Jimmy Harris, and two bouncers came and fucked me out. Right. And sat in Bear's Bar next door to the Barras. I think I ended up talking to Marco in there.
Nice.
He was running about with a big view poster. I think he'd been chucked out as well.
Standard.
But I mean, that's how I was heavy into them for the start, because I kind of met a lot of you boys and it kind of got me into the vibe right away. But how was it for you then, kind of in like that inner circle once you started releasing music and all that? And when did they approach you about artwork and stuff?
So because I was just sort of, the gang was just sort of there anyway. We were just floating about doing our own things. We used to go up and they used to rehearse just for something to do, really. It was more so for the wee gigs they used to do before they were sort of making it. But when they started making it, I think it just made sense that because I was there for the start, they would take me. Kyle was sort of adamant, well, it felt that way anyway to me, that I was coming with on the bus or in the hotels or whatever, I'd be there. So then we started slowly doing wee gigs here and there. And then the artwork thing, funny enough, the artwork, I was always doing my graffiti in the background and doing my wee doodles and that, but it never really made sense to put it on the records. The record company sort of run all that. So the first two singles were done by the record label, Steve Stacey, I believe his name was. He turned up on the first album recording. And I remember him turning up on an album recording thinking, he's the art guy, right? Wait a minute, I'm the fucking art guy here. And he done them two that I don't think the band were too happy with. And then I believe done the first piece of art I done, I think, was maybe the third single. I can't even remember what it was. I think it was maybe the Skag Tendy Dawn thing, which then led on to Face for the Radio, which then led on to the album cover, maybe, I don't know.
Is that album cover is iconic? Like, when I'm sending messages to folk, a lot of the time I'll sign it off with a wee green heart and a pink heart. And most people don't know what it means unless they're View fans. But I mean, like, that's one of my favourite T-shirts. I still wear it. That album cover.
Cult. It's like a cult classic, I think.
And it's just the doodles and all that. The doodles make it, and then the green and pink heart just fucking accentuates everything, man. I absolutely love it. How proud are you of that when you see it, like, obviously 20 odd years on?
It's nice to see that it's still apparent and people still do buzz off it. It's still like, it's nice to know that I was involved in it and I helped to build it. Like, I can't take full credit because all I done was the background sort of scribbles and doodles and that. And then I handed it over to the boys in the record label, and then they come back with the heart on it. And I believe the pink was Kyle and the green was Webby, because they couldn't decide on, they couldn't come to agreement, which what made it is what it is. But I'd done hundreds of them sort of background things. I'd done hundreds of them. They gave me a big office in Colombia, and I was just sketching for days, sketching, handing them over. So, and in the end, I got a wee backhander for it, but I don't think the record label realised it was going to be as big as what it was upon release.
So obviously you mentioned there you had your wee office in Columbia Records. So you mentioned that kind of when we were chatting on Instagram with Simon Cowell kicking about at this point.
So it was either first or second album, but Simon Cowell had an office upstairs, Psycho or something. I think the record label was.
Ah, that's right.
And I think sorry, Mark, I got my times mixed up, but I think it's just the Witch Bits. It was doing it was like two funny faces with a heart. I can't remember what was used for it, and it was like funny hair skeleton type things I was doing at the time. But I was painting outside the offices with the spray cans and that, and Simon Cowell pulled up in his Maybach. I think he had a big Maybach at the time. And he drove past, and I thought, here he is. I'm going to chat to him as he comes past. And right enough, he came back. I went, all right, Simon, how you doing? He's like, hello. He was nice enough. He was all right, but it was just a passing thing.
And recording-wise, then, like the videos. So I mentioned the videos. So you're, for what I can see, you're in Superstar Tradesman video. Obviously, you and some bird get into the shop.
That's right.
That's what I mean. Like then that's when you're proper dialed up to 100% rock star at that point. And then obviously you're in the Dawn and Skag Trendy. You're all sitting about the shop. So how was that then? Kind of being in the videos and then touching on Wasted Little DJs, because I believe a lot of the footage of that was kind of your footage.
Was indeed, mate. Mostly all of it, apart from the live stuff. The live stuff at the windmill and some of the stuff filmed outside the windmill were done by a London team, Indica. Jules and Simon Puntett and Dan Henshaw. Good guys, great guys. We worked with them for a long time. But prior to that, I would just Grant, the manager back in the day. Sorry, to go back, when we used to go on a tour, the boys would turn up at the destination city, whatever it was, and I'd run into the Toon Centre and go to Jessup's, get the spools, get the video recording tapes, and get whatever I needed for that night. Maybe get some socks and underwear for Primark for the boys or whatever. And then get ready for the day ahead. Always recording, always had the camera on. I think I've still got a lot of the tapes. I think Grant maybe still got a lot of the tapes. And the first time it was actually put into anything was that Wasted Little DJs video. But again, as well, that charted in the NME. I've still got all these cuttings, funny enough. That charted in the NME video chart #1 as well, I think.
And also, I do.
I was just nostalgic, mate. Even watching it now, it's very nostalgic. It captures the sort of spice of that time.
Yeah, because that was my initial. That was like the first song I heard. I'm pretty sure, and that's kind of it had me hooked right away. It's still like one of my go-to songs. So, and back then videos were massive. And I mean, I don't really look at music videos these days, but back then they were everything, and I had them all. I had all the view ones on my MySpace and all that. It took ages loading my MySpace up because it was just like for view videos. And I see. What about like the other ones? Like, was there how much acting just into that?
So the first one was the Wasted Little DJs. That was just a compilation. So the boys and myself never had to do much there. I always remember when it was in that NME thing, though, it says the director was Indica, and I couldn't understand. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I filmed that. That should be me. But obviously, I understand they put in the effort and editing and whatnot. But respect to them anyway. So the first one after that, I believe, was Superstar Tradesman, and we just come off the back of the toilet tour. If you watch the making of, you can actually see us rolling at the bus. No socks, just messy as it were back then. And it was like tents set up in Kyle's neighbours' gardens in Divra, like catering tents. There was all people different. It was just quite peculiar, surreal. Big cameras, big fucking lighting tents, just surreal, really. So we rolled at the bus, and you see that on the video. And we went straight up to Kyle's, and basically they went straight into the scene that you see at the back garden. All the boys were there, straight on the side of the and then straight into the video. I was that bad at rodeo back then. I used to call myself a bit of a roadie just to give myself a title. Well, the boys did. I was just sort of done thing. If you watch the documentary of that closely, you see me setting up the kick drum back to front. I never had an idea what I was doing. I wasn't there for that, to be honest.
I mean, it looked a cracking day as well. Was that like the middle of summer?
I can't remember when it was, but I was the whole day was epic, man. Honestly, I can't stress up. I know the boys done their bit and they sort of just glanced over it, but I can't express how special them times were for everyone involved. It was everyone was.
Well, that's captured in that video. Like, obviously, like superstar training is probably the best for just like if you know people. Like obviously, I know everything now.
Yep.
So you can spot them. There's Martin, there's Gypsy, there's Jimmy Harrods hanging near the fence and all that. It's
all the boys there. Kyle's mum as well, God rest her soul. Kyle's mum was in there. She was loving it. Kyle's sisters were in there. James was there. The Indica boys were there. It was just loads. Everyone come out that day and it made for a special day. I carried on right through the night as well. As soon as the camera crews fucked off, we carried on.
Oh, I can imagine.
It was great.
I bump into Kyle's sister quite a bit of you gigs down the left-hand stage of the Barrowlands. That's where to go if you want to.
Is it near the
family and friends? Aye.
Near the bar.
Obviously, like the doodles and the sketching and stuff like that. Yeah, I bought a pair of trainers off you.
Thank you very much, man. We still got them.
No, the missus made me chuck them out.
I don't blame her, mate. Don't worry.
Because I was wearing them. Like, I'd imagine about a lot of people just get them,
keeping them.
But I was wearing them because I thought they were class.
Thank you very much, mate.
But I mean, I believe at the time, like Agnes Dean, no, she's a world famous supermodel. I think she was just starting it then as well. But
Dean was
wearing the clobber.
So I got a wee bit turbled up when the newspaper got hold of it. I got a wee bit turbled up there. But Agnes Dean was kicking about with the Paddingtons at the time. And obviously the boys and the Paddingtons were like there was a good combination there. And I think, to be honest, I just proposed the idea towards her. I think I just asked her if it was possible. And she was, honestly, Matt, she was nice as anything. Really nice for who she was at the time. She was super cool, super down to earth. Just one of your own, really. And I think I approached her there and asked her if she'd be interested in having some of them shoes done. But the thing with the shoes was, for me, was it was such a good business deal for me. Whereas I wasn't getting a wage with the band. I was fed and watered and kept hotel rooms and had a PD when I was on tour and stuff. But in between the touring, I sort of had to, sign on or sell my shoes or whatever. But when that started, we were getting boxes of these shoes, drawing them up and selling them on. We were getting features in the NME. We got features in some of the newspapers, Scottish papers. So business was booming, really. I couldn't complain. But towards the end, when I started getting a wee bit more complacent or a wee bit more messy myself, I noticed that the shoes struggled. So it'd be nice to know that the shoes that you had were the early ones or towards the later period where I got a bit lazy, I think, and a wee bit complacent.
Mine were like T-Rex inspired.
Nice.
They had all T-Rex stuff on them.
Nice, probably to do with the hair and that back then, I guess. But it's actually, I might touch on this, Martin, and if the boy hears this, I done a pair of shoes, I think, and the boy never got his order, or I was just, fuck knows what I was saying, but he never got his order, or he got them late, or they were a shit pair of shoes or whatever, and he wrote into the papers about me being fucking shit businessman, I guess. And I remember reading it and I felt so distraught that I'd let myself get that way, and I'd let the boy down because I think they were for his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, even now, 20 years later, man, it still cuts me up. So if he hears this or whatever, just get in touch, man, on the website or whatever.
Get in touch here. Ryan's going to get you
whatever. I'm so sorry. Can't hear that. I can't leave that like that. It's bad. It was a good time for me otherwise.
The thing is as well, back then you're young and you're kind of
18, 17, 18, Martin. They were kids, mate.
Everything's kind of by accident and design, really, isn't it? It's no kind of, you don't realise you're not
what you've got. Just complacent. We're getting pulled left, right, and centre. We're getting pulled on this. Well, me personally, I was getting pulled here, there, and there. Kyle was happy for me to go wherever he was, so I was just moving with him, really.
So, I mean, touching on songs that I mentioned, like music videos, but you're kind of name checked in a couple of songs as well. So you're name checked in "Don't Tell Me" and name checked in "Give Back the Sun," which I think is, if like going by the lyrics of that and for what I've heard, that seems to be the kind of story that "Give Back the Sun." So can you kind of divulge into that a wee bit?
So I can't really say too much about Give Back to Sun because that's Kyle's baby, so he would obviously need to touch on that. But don't tell me. Well, I can tell you what, Give Back to Sun was. Me and Kyle went to Spain, and Kyle used to enjoy writing. Need to just get his head right whatever and write when he was free and happy. So we went over to Spain to Kyle's sister, and I believe that's where he penned. Well, I'm going to say we penned Give Back to Sun. I used to help now and again with certain lyrics, whatever. We used to have fun, just throwing ideas about. Both very creative guys. And when we came together, it was also very, very creative. It was a good partnership when it was there. So Give Back the Sun was his baby. I maybe just helped with lyrics or two. I think he maybe changed it later down the line. I don't actually know. But Don't Tell Me was based on back in the very, very early days, before the band, I believe. Kyle's sister used to have a nice big house there. And she used to always say people round, and she played in her own wee band, covered band called Heart and Soul. So there was always parties going on there. And I always remember one time, Kyle was the life and the soul of the party back then. He must have been about 14 or 15. And he was standing at this big huge door, and he was seeing everybody out the party. Right, cheers, thank you, see you later, thanks for coming. But he was just slapping on the arse, slapping on the arse as they leave. Nothing creepy, like, he was just, see you later, bye. Oh, and jest. And then the next day, I'm like, yeah, Kyle, do you remember last night? He's like, nah, I don't remember anything. I'm like, Kyle, do you remember this? Do you remember that? Blah, 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 blah. So I wasn't really a big drinker back then, man. I never used to drink too much. So I remembered everything, and I think that's what that relates to. Don't tell me. RMC, he understands. He's not afraid to tell me my late night shenanigans.
And obviously, like I've had I've had Kyle, I've had Ped, I've had Webby on the podcast. I did.
God bless Mo as well. Shouts to Mo. Big respect to Mo.
Well, that's where I was going with that. I mean, I did probably as early as I spoke to you, like 4 years ago. I was speaking to Mo.
Nice.
And I was talking coming on, but he's really hard to get a hold of now, and he's went the ground. How what sort of stories have you got to Mo? Because we don't really hear much of him.
Mo's the man. Mo's always been the man. Crazy effing Mo. He was the life and soul of the party, and always was. He was, I believe, Kyle's friend of the family. He was at a different high school and stuff, so he came in when Bruni left. But I think him and Kyle were pals for years, dating back. Used to go on holiday night together. But Mo was always up for any mischief, as was I. He was always up for
videos of him. Actually, I can mind watching videos of him and was it Dave Webster for Louisiana? Were they no eating like bugs or something? It was like some sort of I'm a celebrity type thing, eating bugs or something.
I was standard for Mo, honestly. He was always up for anything. He was stapling his nutsack to walls. He was always putting pins through his elbows, and he was mad, but like the good mad. Brilliant guy, honestly. A lot of respect and a lot of time for him. You dare him for you. All the boys were so tight and amongst themselves. We were like brothers. I know it's been said, but I mean, like, we're like real blood brothers. It was.
And another thing you mentioned when we were talking, you mentioned NME's 5 most rock and roll moments for the viewer, son. And you said that you were involved in at least 4 of them.
I believe I was involved in 4, man. Sorry, carry on.
So I mean, one of them, like going back to Mo, obviously Pete Doherty's arrest. Was that the one that him and Mo were caught driving in a motor or something?
So, like, here we go. So basically, we're on the Baby Shambles tour. And it was coming towards the end of a fantastic tour, I might add. Like, surreal. This is what I believe made the band. Not made the band, but the boys were already rock stars in their own right. But until they went on tour with the Baby Shambles, it like became clear to them that they are rock stars. They were accepted in the circles of the rock stars, and they were partying just as hard, and they were performing just as well, in my opinion. But there was like a real bonding night in Newcastle Digital. where Pete never made it to the after show, and Kyle had to step in and do. You probably heard about it, but Kyle took Pete's position on stage, and there was like a wee VW camper van at the side of stage, and we're all in there with big up Adam Fajcek and Drew Helsinki Drew. We're in there. So anyways, blah blah. Back to your question. We're at the end of the tour. I think we're maybe in Cambridge, and the boys were going on to do a gig for Columbia Records, like I can't remember, like an A&R gig just for the A&R people. And I think Grant was wanting to send me home. He says, "McPhail, you're going home, blah blah." And I'm like, "I don't think so. The party's just starting. Really, we're on a roll here. Let's keep it going." So I spoke to Pete and Drew and the manager at the time. I think the big general guy was there. And I says, "Is it all right if I jump in your bus back to London?" I'm saying, "The View boys go back to London. I need to get there." And they're like, "No problem." So then I arranged that myself, and I'm like, "Here, Mo, I'm going back to London. I'll see you there." And he's like, "What, you going with them?" I'm like, "I'm going with them." He's like, "I'm coming with you then." I'm like, "Are you sure, Mo? What about the boys?" He says, "Fuck it, I'm coming with you." So then me and Mo left. I'm sure it was Cambridge. I may be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong. So me and Mo jumped in the Baby Shambles bus towards London. So halfway there, whatever, we're all singing and jamming and guitars and whatnot, and all sing-song, as you can imagine. Mo comes up to me wide-eyed, top of the stairs in the tour bus, and he's like, "McPhail, I fucked up." I'm like, "What?" He says, "I fucked up." I said, "What do you mean?" The Views tour bus was like the wee Japanese bus. It was like Betsy, they used to call it. Anyway, Mo's come up the stairs, and he's like, "I fucked up." He says, "I've got the keys for Betsy." So we're halfway to London, and he's got the van keys, and all the boys, all the crew, all the roadies and that are stuck in the last venue. So anyway, big drama there. We had to pull over, send the keys back. Mo's like, "McPhail, you want to tack the rap for this?" I'm like, "Mo, I can't, man, I can't." He said, "I'll give you 20 quid. I says, "Right, deal, I'll tack it." So then Grant thought that I had lost the keys or whatnot. Anyway, so then we get to London. We spend the night at Pete's house, me and Mo. Nice big flat. He had there, big like penthouse style flat in Dalston, all covered in graffiti and like fan art and just a cool, interesting place. It was like just a lair, basically. For us, Pete was a god. He was a rock star. He was only 26, 27 at the time, but to us, he was like an adult, a man. All the boys were. I was 17, I think. Mo was 18. So we spent the night there, and then the next day, Pete was getting up and getting ready. He's put on his big long mat and his hat and whatnot. Grabbed his keys. I can't remember what it was, but he's grabbed someone anyway. I'm like, "Pete, where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to Birmingham. Carol's playing." Carol was doing Dirty Pretty Things at the time.
Right.
And I'm like, What the fuck, you going to Birmingham? That's fucking insane. That's like a Libertines reunion. I'm like, "Can we come?" He's like, "Of course you can." Whoa, me and Mo jumped right up, straight with Pete. I think we got a taxi. We got a taxi to East London somewhere, I don't know where. Early doors. And Doherty always had loads of cash on him at the time, because during the Baby Shambles tour, I don't think there was any sort of record label or anybody taking the money but Pete. So it was all cash in hand. So he was getting paid grands and grands every night, I'd imagine. So he just had loads of money, always loads of cash. Like, I mean, loads of cash. So anyway, we get this taxi to East London, pays the man. We turn up to a garage, just like an old London garage, what you'd imagine, like an old smoky looking, graffiti on the door type garage. Open the door and it's just full of old Jags, loads of old Jags, fucking red, blue, white, green, you choose. So anyway, Doherty's in there and he says, "Right, boys, pick a colour." They're like, "What?" He says, choose your car, basically. Me and Mo are like, "What?" They're like, "Okay, blue one." Bottled it. The blue one will do. Right, we'll take the blue one. So he's paid that cash. Bang, I watched him hand over the money, cash to this guy. Bang, bang, bang. Then he jumps in the Jag. Then we're driving about London, East London, I don't know where at the time, but I think it was doing Brick Lane we were. So we're just cruising about, listening to cassette tapes. Peter had loads of old cassette tapes to listen to of his early stuff. Just surreal, man, honestly. It's just like, even looking back now, it's giving me shivers. But just at the time, he just accepted it like it was normal. It was just normal at the time. As insane as that sounds, we were just rocking about with fucking the biggest rock star in the country. He was on the front page of every paper at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to him as well, I could see the public's reaction to seeing Pete in the street or see him in the car. Like, I was shocked and awe, and like, wait, everyone was happy to see him. And I remember saying to him, "How does it make you feel that everyone that you come in contact with is happy to see you?" Like, I could witness it myself. And he was just a really nice, humble guy. I thought, really sound. So anyway, so we're driving in London for ages. We stopped off to a place, had a bit of coffee and whatnot, a wee bite to eat, and then we set off to Birmingham. And don't know what happened. Listen to Don't Be Shy. I think the earlier recording was Don't Be Shy. Don't be. I can't remember what it was. Kept playing on repeat. And then I must have crashed out in the front, I think, and Mo was in the back behind me. Doherty was on my right. So I've been here listening to this. I wake up and there's just blue lights everywhere. I've just woke up and there's like blue lights everywhere. Woo, woo, woo. We're in some sort of chase. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Mo, what's happening? He's like, they're behind me, basically. We're getting tailed through Birmingham, through Birmingham. I fell asleep on the motorway. So then it was all, get out of the car, shouting and screaming as you imagine. Get out of the car, everyone on the floor, pinned up, slammed against the doors. I'm still just defrosting. I've just woke up, like, what the fuck's going on? Been up for days, probably. So then, in a blind panic, I've opened the glove box and grabbed a load of the cassettes. I don't know what it was, instinctual, I guess, 17. Instinctually, I opened the glove box, grabbed what was in the glove box and just breaked it, just put it in my shorts or whatever, my jeans, skinny jeans. You could probably see it. The jeans are that tight, Matt. You could probably see the tape there, mate, to be honest. So anyway, I've done that and fucking we've been bundled out the car, bundled in the van, and then now we're in the holding cell. We're in the holding cell and I'm shaking myself a wee bit. I think, oh no, what the fuck's going on now? I've got this here. I don't know what it is, to be honest. It's just whatever. It's just, looking back, it's just cassette tapes. But so anyway, we're in here and we're going through what's going on and whatnot, and we get pulled in one by one. Strip search, right? Ryan McPhail, Mr. McPhail, strip search. And I'm like, oh no, here we go. So I've been in the cells before, drunken fights and whatnot as a kid, but this was like a real cell block H type prison. This was like, I've not seen anything like it, man. It was like 4 stories high, an old Victorian built thing with cages and like metal railings, and you could see underneath your feet, and that was like people shouting, loads of Burmese accents. Oh, I'm just like, well, overwhelming, right? So anyway, McPhail, your first strip search. I'm like, bastard. So I'm sitting on a chair here. There's the alleyway to my right. I can remember it now. There's an alleyway to my right, and then there's a left turn. There's a policeman to my right, and there's a policeman to my left. And so they're saying, like, let's go this way. So as I've stood up, and these cassettes have fell to like the top of my shoe and the inside of my leg. I'm not joking, right? So as I've stood up, it's fell to the inside of my leg. I'm like, oh no. As I've turned, now I'm walking doing this one way. The policeman's there. First policeman took his left. I followed him, took my left. So as I'm here, the policeman's still there. And these cassettes have just fell on the floor. I'm not joking, they fell on the floor and I've just went out with my foot. Just booted them left. And they went flying. Across this fucking, honestly, this metal railing floor. And I think the guy behind me is going to see this, but he never seen anything. He never seen a thing. So I can't quite believe this. I've gone in there smiling. I can't stop smiling. And there's Bollock naked smiling. He's like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, nah, nothing. Nah, that's just nothing, whatever. So he's asked me to turn round. I remember it in probably accent. I'm not going to do it. Can you turn around and lift up your scrotum for me? So I'm there, I'm doing all this, doing all that. Pete goes in, Mo comes in, does the same thing. We spend the night in the cells. The cassette tapes I've never seen again. We spent the night in the cells. I was just doodling. I was buzzing, really. It was like, it was all part of, it was exciting for me, man. It was exciting. I guess it was exciting for Mo as well. It was just like, I can't believe this is happening. Like. So then, we got interviewed first. So Peter told them that we were a supergroup. And we were due on stage in Birmingham, and that's why we were travelling there, and that's why what was going on. So he's questioning me. It was weird. It was like when I'd been questioned by the police before as a kid, the respect wasn't there. I never got very much respect for these officers, but this time the respect was there. I could see the respect was there, and they were treating me. They were saying, "Look, son, I know you're in a group. I know you're a pop star. I know you're in a super group. And you're due on stage tonight, but please tell us what happened." And to be honest, Matt, this is my very first no comment interview. I'd never done it before, and I'd seen it on the telly and whatnot, but I'd never actually done it. So I was trembling before I actually said the word. I'm trembling. I'm like, no comment. And he went, okay, moving on, next question. I'm like, what, as easy as that? As simple as that? Just no comment. So that was me, no comment. And then, we got put to ourselves then, spent the night. Woke up the next day, I was doodling. They gave me a biro pen, funny enough. I don't think they meant to have biro pens in the cells, but they did. So I think there was some respect there. Doodling all night. Woke up the next day. Pete used to give us at the end of every night. He'd pull us in the dressing room one by one, and he gives us 100 quid each in cash. We stand at the door, open the door, 100 quid for Webby, Pete, Mo, myself, and Kyle. The manager would go to come in, he'd shut the door in the manager's face. They want to welcome in the dressing room, honestly, it was great. So I had this 100 quid. So I'd woke up the next day in the cells, and I thought, like, okay, fuck me, I'm the first out. Let's get the boys I need to get some Lucozade. That was it. That was just the cure back then for your hangover. Let's get the Lucozade in. So I'd got in the shop, got a load of Lucozade for the boys, gone back to the cells. Then I can't remember if it was Peter Mo come out. I think Mo come out next. Mo buzzing, oh fucking hell, no. whatever, buzzing. There's your Lucas head, Mo's done that, tell his side of the story to me, blah, 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 blah. And then Pete's come out, and he was all cuddles and hugs, and we made it, and we're coming to the other side, and it was great. I'm like, yeah, Pete, we're in Birmingham, man. How are we going to get back? Like, what happens now? And he's went, don't worry. He flagged the taxi, black cab, and he's went, to London, please. And the guy's like, I can't take you to London, but he went, bang, pulled out a big wedge of cash. He went, there you go. I think it was 600 quid or 650 quid. And he just slammed it in the wee pocket in the wee pocket in the window of the taxi there. And that was it, straight black cab to Birmingham. And again, I'm still like, this is too surreal. This is surreal. But to be honest, the madness at that time, nothing was, everyone was, how do I say this? Everyone was surreal. So nothing was too shocking. Everyone was shocking. So nothing was more shocking. Next, anything went.
Anything when you're in that world, it doesn't seem like anything.
I was insane. Like, Kyle could phone you up and tell you, sorry, go on.
No, well, the thing is, I mean, Pete's still doing that now. Obviously, my last episode I had it was with Steele, his son.
Right, cool.
And Steele was saying he was in hospital or something last year, and his dad got a taxi halfway down the country to come and see him for 20 minutes before he was meant to be playing a gig. I don't know, I think it was Cambridge again. He was playing, he fucked off in a taxi to go and see his son in the hospital, and then came back. The tour manager was going off his head with him. So I mean, that 20 years on, he's still into that.
Just anything went, just any means. It was just, I wasn't even thought about it, to be honest. It was just the money was just coupons, fun coupons. I think they were just tokens for whatever. But we jumped in this black cab, and I can't remember, but Mo was sleeping on the floor. I can remember, I see it now. Mo was sleeping on the floor, and then Pete was sort of just falling asleep on my right hand side. I was here, and in the end, he ended up just sleeping on my knee. He just fell asleep on my knee. I'm like, I still can't believe this. This is surreal. Both my legs are fucking pins and needles. But I'm not moving this man for love nor money. Like, the respect I've got for this guy at the time is beyond belief. Like, so right enough, we just drive back to London. Back in Pete's gaff, Pete was like, take your shoes off, boys, I think. And because we'd been on tour for so long with no socks and just pure Converse, I had like tour feet, we used to call it. Everyone had these tour feet where they were like, my heels are like crumpets, man. The only way to describe it, to look at them, it's disgusting that you've mentioned this. But they were bad feet and they stunk. Everybody's feet stunk. I'm like, yeah, Pete, my feet are bad, mate. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, Pete, they're really bad. I can't take my shoes off. He went like, yeah, get in the toilet, right? Wash your feet. There's a fresh pair of socks. He gave me a fresh pair of Ralphie socks, I remember it. When we were in there, chilling out, Pete sorted us out a bit of weed. Me and Mo were big on weed at the time. And we're just in there listening to tunes, just debriefing basically, just going over whatever. Pete fucked off and done his own thing. He went away to see whatever he's saying. Me and Mo were just going over everything and just how surreal it was. The sun was shining. We're on Doherty's balcony smoking a big spliff. And just like, what do we do now? And so it was that point when the Columbia gig was happening. So then Grant pulled us in for a meeting at the Columbia Hotel, which I believe is on Mayfair. So we fucked off with Pete's house to Columbia Hotel. Peter gave us a mobile phone as well and said, keep in touch with him. And Grant, the manager at the time, was like, boys, you're in so much trouble. He says, this has gone global. I think he was bigging it up too much. He says, this has gone global. He says, you're going to get chased down the road for the press. The newspapers are going to be on your tail. This, that, they're going to want this, they're going to want that. He says, you need to go back to Dundee. No, you need to go back to Dundee. And I'm like, nah, I'm not really up for that. I want to stay here. Kyle and Webby and Pete and that are here, and they've got that gig tonight, I think, A&R gig. So anyway, Mo went back to Dundee, and I went and met the boys. I think I got confused as well. So I went and met the boys at Putney Bridge. I'm sure it was Putney Bridge. And that's when they went on to do the performance show alongside Kasabian at the time. Mm-hmm. And that, for me, is when we pulled up into this venue, and there was all big, massive posters of the band. And that's when I was like, whoa, fuck me, this is real now. Like big, huge, full-size movie posters of the boys next to Kasabian, next to whoever else was on Columbia Records at the time. And then to go in there and see all the AR guys with their pens and their papers and their clipboards, watching them perform, and the smiles on the people's faces and the round of applause, and just I don't know, I just sort of knew then that something was happening. There was something seriously in the air.
And I mean, you're talking 20 years nearly 20 years on, and just last week there, Kyle was up on stage with Pete Doherty.
Was he? Yeah, brilliant.
It was on Instagram. They were playing "Can't Stand Me Now."
Nice.
So I really, it just shows you that the relationships you build, no matter 20 years on, it's still there. Another shout out actually to the Paddingtons, who we mentioned earlier as well. Their album, they're doing anniversary shows this year, and their tickets on sale for audio in Glasgow. So
Nice.
if anybody want to go and see Paddingtons, another class band. I
Nice.
actually got tickets for that today.
Always good guys. Always good guys about to me.
And so, what other stories have you got for the view before we kind of leave that?
Let's see what we've got. So I can't say too much, but the first album recordings, interesting. Oh, that was bad. That was one of the five things. Sorry, was the Land Rover going over. That was quite interesting. First album recording, we turned up. The boys have to get put out in the countryside because everyone's so wild, and being in the city is dangerous for everyone. Dangerous for the record label and for the record being recorded, whatever, because of distraction. So we got put inside in the country, Scarborough, on a farm, which was just it was a nice place. It was cool, it was brilliant, whatever. But there was a big red Land Rover there that was part of the farm, and whoever was part of the band got to use that to get to and from the shops, the meetings, whatever it's called. But the manager says, under no circumstances do the band get the keys to the van, to land it. No circumstances, definitely not. It's not happening. So Grant was there for, I think, the first few days, the first week, and as soon as Grant left, me and Mo got up in the morning. Mo, let's go. Grant's gone. We went to the record, what they call the assistant guy, the stagehand or whatever he is. I don't know what he is. The producer guy does whatever. The fucking producer's assistant. Devin, his name was, Canadian guy. And I'm like, Dev, can we get the keys to the Land Rover, mate? We're going up to the shops. He's like, yeah, sure thing, mate. They're in the kitchen cupboard. me and Mo probably still half cut. What do we hear pistol thing as well? So me and Mo took to the country, mate, in the valleys and the fields in this fucking Land Rover, just shooting at stuff, just whatever, just being stupid on the bonnet, driving about, whatnot. And then later on that day, the boys got up and we were all messing about. And you can see a lot of this in the Wasted Little DJs video. You see them razzing about. We're recording a lot of that, driving off into the sunset. So we're hearing this thing about all day and all night. Basically just turning out to do each other. And then me, Kyle and Pete went out for one last raz, I think, before our tea, as the sun was going down. And Pete was, I think Pete was maybe driving in anyway. Pete was driving, Kyle was driving up and down, ring. And I thought, right, step aside, boys, let me jump in. So I jumped in. And I thought, my dad was a driving instructor as a kid as well. So I used to think that I was fucking handy on the old 4x4s as well. So I'm driving up this hill, flying down this hill at full speed, Mark, going through the gears. And as I've taken a right, I've just slammed it right, and this thing just went skidding. And you just feel the gravity pull. Kyle's in the passenger seat, the gravity's pulled toward Kyle's side. Bang, bang, smash. All the windows have gone in. The thing's gone like a fucking bean can. And then there's loads of like liquid. I thought it was petrol, probably water, but at the time it felt like petrol pouring in everywhere. And I remember screaming, Kyle, like I was screaming on, Kyle, and he's silent. He was upside down and silent. I can't believe it. I thought I've killed him. I'm like, I've killed the lead singer on his first debut album. I can't believe it. Anyway, he's like, McPhail, you all right? I'm like, Kyle, you all right? Oh, so we're both sort of buzzing off that. Got our seatbelts off and we come out. Pete's standing there with his head in his hands, like, what the fuck's happened? So we stood there just looking at this thing in bits. And to be honest, Matt, the three were just busted out laughing, like hysterical laughing. It's not, I can remember it now. I stood there, it's now basically dark and we're laughing at each other like you would not believe. And it's just dawned on me that I've left the video camera in there. I'm like, bastard boys, the video camera. So I've put my arm in there, reached for the video camera, and as I pulled my arm out, I've got a tiny wee cut, just the tiniest wee scar. I've still got it. It's just a tiny wee scar there. And that was the only injury for that. So we left that in the field and we went up and Owen was there. And he was like, right, McPhail, after dinner, after tea, whatever, we're going out in the Land Rover to get this and to get that and to get that. And I remember Pete saying, I don't think it's going to leave the farm, Owen. I don't think that's going to happen. He was like, what do you mean? He says, I don't think it's going to happen. And then I think it was $4,500 it cost the boys. And then that was the start of mayhem. That was the start of chaos. Before the album was even released, there was chaotic things happening.
So obviously, I can imagine they two albums kind of it would have been just total chaos. Um, how did the end come? Like, obviously, when did you leave? Stuff.
So for me, so here we go, plot twist on me, big plot twist. And this is the first time I've ever spoken about this, pretty much to anybody. And it's only in the past few years that I've realised this was the sort of fork in the road for me. So the first album was done and released. We toured that album wild. There was toilet tours and it was chaos. What a great time. It was brilliant. So then there's a bit of break in between. Then the second album was due up, which I believe was 2009, maybe 2009, recording in Wales, Mono Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was maybe living with Kyle at the time, Kyle and Marco and Stoke Newton. Maybe wrong. But anyway, we'd been up all weekend and then we left for the album recording on the Monday or whatever. And then upon getting there, we'd met up for a few beers. With a few people, and then we sat there for a while getting messy and whatnot. Or getting comfortable, not even messy, just getting comfortable before going to the studio, before even getting to the studio. We're going to the studio, then we're going for whatever, a couple of beers, whatever, right? So we're going there and we're finishing up, and I remember somebody saying, right, finish up, boys, we're leaving. So I've picked up my pint and I went bang, 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 finishing my pint as you do before you jump in the taxi. And just as I'm looking at the bottom of this pint, all I could see is a load of sugar. So I mean, that was sorry, Matt, I never even asked.
Aye, back around.
So I can see it's a load of this, like sugar. I mean, it's only right to describe, like sugar you used to put on your cereals, thick at the bottom of the glass. And as I've tilted my head back, this stuff just sagged to the glass and went whoosh, right down my pipe. And as I've fucking realised what's going on, I've downed it. And honestly, this thing just kicked in instant. I'm guessing it was obviously MDMA or something. I've picked up a dodgy pint or anyway, it's ended up in there somehow and I've been wanting to drink it. Bang, I've drank it. And as soon as I've realised what's going on, I've just dropped this glass to my hand here and it's just in my stomach. It's just been like a volcano, mate. It's just went whoosh through my feet up, basically. Whoosh through my toes, this rush just coming up like you would not believe. Like we've all dabbled, right? So we're not coming up this rushing through my feet, whoosh to my belly, right up to my toe, and I just projectile vomited. Whoosh, it's coming all over the table, all over the bar, like just everywhere, messy projectile vomiting. And to be honest, Matt, I can't remember a thing after that. Right, I was gone. Don't know where I went. To me, it felt like days. Right, I'll need to speak to the boys again. Touched on this briefly with Kyle back in 2020, but over the years, I've realised that this was the point for me. So I've gone under, but I don't know where, and all I can remember is being back in the studio floor. I was lying back in the studio floor, and the thing is, what stunned me was I was like a vegetable basically, but I could hear everything that was going on. I could hear everything in the room. I could hear people talking. I could hear people talking about me. I could hear people talking about what the state I was in and whatnot. I hear people turning up to like Pete and Webby turning up for their first day. I'm like, oh fuck, what's happening to him? And I'm just lying there, just monged. Like there's no way to describe it as. So that happened for a couple of days, maybe not a couple of days. I'm not exaggerating, but this is how it felt for me. A couple of days, and I remember just coming to and just feeling different in the sort of boys that called my brothers, different in the group of people. Just like I was like this real instinctual damage had done. It was mistrust there. I don't know. It was like something. I just couldn't. I wasn't myself. I couldn't be myself. Obviously, There was a massive come down as well. So I just couldn't relax. I don't know. I wasn't myself. Put it that way. I remember feeling different, but I couldn't really put it into words. Couldn't really explain it to anybody. Couldn't really point a finger. It was just happened overnight, basically. So it went on through the recordings, and I spent a lot of my time up in my room. Whereas normally, first recording, I was life and soul of the party. I was always there. 4 of the 5 rocking all things was me, so I was there always. And even when there was like gatherings, getting together, even when Paolo come to record covers with Kyle and that, I had actually dropped Kyle off up at Paolo's studio on the moped, with the moped there. So I had give Kyle a backy up to Paolo's studio, thinking we're going up there, which was Rockfield. So I'm like, right, man, let's go. And Kyle's like, nah. He says, McPhail, you go back to the studio. I'm going to go and see Paolo himself. I'm like, no bother, mate. So Kyle's gone and done that. And I've gone back to the studio. And I've just got to bed, I think. And the next day I woke up and they've recorded covers. I'm like, oh, what? Fuck, I've missed like a big deal. Obviously, it'd be great to be there with Paolo and his band. I've got a lot of respect for his stuff. So I missed that. I missed a few other things. Just didn't want to be involved, basically. Didn't want to be too involved with these parties anymore. And then realistically after that was the tour off the back of that album. And then again, I was on that tour for, I don't know how long it was, but it came to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. Whereas I used to love the tour, and I used to love the meeting the people, I used to love the socialising, I used to love every aspect of being in the band and the rock star lifestyle that come with it. But this time round, I wasn't that guy anymore. Honestly, man, I was like, I didn't like being in company or groups, or mistrust was just didn't trust anywhere. Paranoia, anxiety, and depression was probably all apparent. But back then, it wasn't spoken about. So I was just suffering silently, man. I never really knew. Probably for them looking in, or for anybody else, the bigger circle, the boys, the group, the driver boys, I probably went a bit weird. Looking back. Like, anytime I got on the sesh, I'd go like non-verbal, or I'm quite an insular guy anyway. I'm quite very much.
Mm-hmm.
But this, like, now I'd get on it, I'd take a wee sniff or a wee drink of that, and I'd go just in it myself. I'd be aware upstairs, my head would be working double time, but I'd just be insular, non-verbal. I couldn't really speak or express myself. And obviously, if you go
probably that fear, though, isn't there? Like the same thing's going to happen. That's probably what's going on in it.
Just couldn't work it out, but it just happened every time, and I would end up just building up to the point of explosion, and I end up kicking off and wanting to batter somebody, or end up getting in trouble with somebody, my temper, fucking just paranoia, I guess. Two dogs and a machete, as they say, I'm looking after Jojo. So that was that, and that happened. So I was finding myself less and less want to go out, less and less want to be in the groups. So then I left the tour. I remember leaving the Witch Pitch tour no long after it started. I got to a point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I went to the dressing room, and I remember just looking around and feeling unwelcome. I was probably welcome, but at the time I felt really unwelcome. I'm like, I was drinking more, looking at that book, not sure if we mentioned, but that book as well mentions how messy I got towards the end, but I think it was just dealing with it. I think that's how I dealt with it. So I was just drinking loads and whatever else, getting messy, and then in a turn that sort of went against us, I guess. I wasn't really carrying my weight, I wasn't really bringing anything to the table, I wasn't doing the roadie, I wasn't doing any artwork. My artwork suffered big time. Couldn't really create. I wasn't that funny, jovial vibe man that I was in the past. I was just there, just fucking surviving. So I left the tour anyway, and I thought I left the tour at a sensible place, man. I left the tour in Falmouth, which is the arse end of the country, I think. And I had to get to Dundee. I think I had a tenner. I had to phone my mum and beg for money and that, like, to then get back. It was an overnight train here and there. And that was basically the end of my touring days for there. And then after that, my social circle sort of suffered as well. Obviously, once the boys come back after tour, we'd be partying all the time anyway, and I just couldn't. I was more like sit-offs. We'd go up in somebody's house after parties, would sit off in people's houses, here and whatever, the party drugs and that. But I would just suffer. I was suffering every time, and in the end, I stopped doing that. And then there was times when I'd be invited to Paolo Nutini, was playing Dundee. Let's go, Paolo. Couldn't do it. We'd get together. I'd bring people around my house for a get together. It wasn't the same. I'm like, boys, I'm not going. They're like, what? What's going on? You all right? You hearing a freak out? I'm hearing a freak out. I'm like, that's what we call it. But it was fucking a panic attack, an anxiety attack, or fuck knows what it was. But basically, that's what happened. And then that slowly but surely destined me for the band. And in turn, for my friends as well. I lost a lot of friends as well. I never really spoke about this, boys. So if you're listening, this is what's happened. I lost a lot of pals in that. Just maybe just written off as being weird, or just overcooked it, or just fuck knows what. But it was a pivotal moment when I drank that pint. That is when everything changed for me. I can guarantee it. But I'm not pointing any fingers, I'm not blaming anybody, or whatever happened. Because at the time, if you'd asked me to drink that pint, I would have drank it without fucking asking. I would have downed it. I would have downed two of them. But because I never knew what was going on, I think I wasn't mentally prepared for what was going to happen. So that's how I think I took it so bad. That's how I think I suffered. But all good, we get better. So then that was that. My social circle stopped going out with the boys, stopped partying, became a wee bit more recluse. I was trying to paint and draw, wasn't that good. Then I remember the boys had another tour come up, and it was at that point where I'd asked. I never used to ask. I was always part of the tour anyway, part of the touring party. But this time I felt the need to ask. And Grant was my mate in that at the time, but also because I never really had a job title, he didn't really respect me as much as he had respect for the band, which is fair enough. So at the time I'd asked Grant, it's probably the worst thing I could have done. I said, Grant, will you be needing me on this tour? And I remember him saying, nah, you're not needed this time, McPhail. And I'm like, oof. I'm like, bosh, and that was it. That was the end. That was the end of my touring time, from travelling with the boys through school, basically 16 up until now. I was 20, 21 basically. That was the end of the tour. for touring for me anyway.
It seems like quite an abrupt ending, doesn't it? Like for everything that's going on, and then it just kind of bang, that's it. It's stopped. So it must be kind of hard to comprehend.
It's easier now. Like it took a long time going over it and whatnot, but at the time I couldn't understand it. Excuse me, the way I'm telling it now, it sounds very abrupt and sharply. It happened overnight, but this was over the course of, looking back at the dates, it's probably over the course of a year. Slowly but surely, I became this sort of character, which then took me away from the party, basically, the social circles that I was involved in. They carried on, and more people became part of the gang, and everyone evolved, and new people that was meeting and that. But for me, that's where it sort of ended, and I started doing other things, keep myself to myself, and trying to focus on art and my graffiti again. But I was at that time, it basically scared me that much that I came to a point where I'm like, I need to get a job. I need to get a real fucking career. I'm getting to an age now, 20-year-old, where I've not got any money. I'm signing on. The shoes had obviously fell through because of that thing. The art canvases weren't really selling as much. So I'm like, I need to get a job. I'd always fancied London. My sister was living in London at the time. So then I thought, why not see what she's doing? She had a cool job at the time. She was working in the offices for the film industry, the movie stuff. Or what I led to believe at the time was just TV. I thought she was just doing TV work. So then I asked her if she could get me a start there. She says, I probably can. An apprenticeship. And at the time, that word, apprenticeship, I was like, no fucking way. No way am I working. I'm an artist. In my mind, I was an artist then. Because of the sales I was making, I believed that I was an artist. Up until that point when I drank that pint, I believe it was some sort of ego death. Like, that's the way it looks at now. It just wiped my everything. Because after that, I didn't believe I was an artist anymore. I didn't believe I was some sort of rock star anymore. I didn't believe I was welcome in any circles. It's hard to explain it. But I just fucking shut off, basically. Shut everyone out and shut off. But I came to the point looking for work. She says, you've got to move to London. So I'm like, okay. I'd met someone at the time who had helped me as well, helped change my mind about things. And open my mind to the work, told us to stop smoking the weed, get off the weed. There's no help in it for now. And then there was a point in between getting the job as well where another fucking bombshell when I look back. But I took a seizure. I ended up taking a seizure. And I don't know if it was off the back of the pint or what, but this is a few months down the line. But I ended up taking a seizure in my sleep. And I never had a seizure. I've not got any. My health, I'm fit as a fiddle, mate. Strong as an ox with the box. So I always have been, always have. But this time I ended up taking a seizure in my sleep. Fucking paramedics in the room. Ambulance to the place. And I remember getting angry because I was like, I'm fine. Like, I don't need to be in a wheelchair. Why are you putting me in a wheelchair? And they says it's health and safety, you've got to be in a wheelchair. And then they put us in a brain scanner, like the big MRI thing. I'm like, whoa, my life is really took a nosedive here. Like, I remember being in this brain scanner and thinking, what the fuck has happened here? Like, I'm now in this. I went for up there, which I felt, to now here. So anyway, in the machine, they couldn't work out. They had no thing. They says I maybe overheated. It could have been a gone cold turkey off the weed, and maybe off the back of that MDMA, maybe coming off the back of the tour and all the messiness of the tour. God knows. But anyway, it happened. So then after that season, I was like, right, okay, things need to change now. Now is the time I need to sort of knuckle down and focus on myself a wee bit. So then I moved to London, started fitting windy vinyls, like vinyls on shop windows in Oxford Street with a guy, Mike Scott. Great guy, helped us out a lot then. I was fucking terrible at that. I used to always scratch them up, big posh shops, Dolce & Gabbana shops. Used to get certs done away in, certs done away out. I don't know if it was just me, but I used to get certs either way, and I used to always mess up these vinyls. But anyway, the apprenticeship came up eventually, May the 10th, 2010, and that was to start on the film that was Captain America and Shepperton Studios, and that was the start. That was the start of the future for me, really.
So what do you do then on these films? What is it? Yeah.
So when I started back then, I was it's called a scenic painter. Again, it was all new to me. I never knew what it was, but it's like there's a construction department in amongst the film studios that build the sets. They construct the sets. So there'll be a paint department, there'll be a plaster department, and there'll be a carpentry department. So the carpenters will build them with the wood. The plasterers will make them look like stone or bricks or whatever with the plaster. And then the painters will go in and make it look like the real thing. So go from looking like white to looking like brickwork or woodwork, marble, rust, anything you want.
Wow. And this is like, I mean, obviously like on the chat when we were messaging back and forth, I mean, you're chatting names a bit like I mean, we've been talking about Pete Doherty and The View and stuff like that. Agnes Dean's been mentioned, and then in this chat, you just kind of chucked in Mark Wahlberg as if it's just a run of the day hang. So how did you kind of get
So,
involved with his team?
so Marky Mark. So it's more. So I was working with the construction boys for years and years and years up until about 2020. Then obviously the big break happened, the big change. A lot of time to think, a lot of time to look back, as everyone had, and realised that the construction wasn't really doing it for me anymore. I was just getting a bit bored. It was getting a bit tedious. And it was getting busier because of the break at lockdown. There was a sort of fallback in film work. So then when it opened again, the films got busier, which meant more people were coming in, which meant the skill set for me was getting weak. So I'd been working for 10 years towards this sort of position, head of department, supervisor, whatever you want to call it. And then I noticed that the skill set was getting worse. So for me, I thought I need to look elsewhere. So then I started doing a thing which is called standby painting, which is on the set, actually when they're filming and recording. Whereas construction before the film unit turn up, this is where the film unit are, standby. You've got a radio on and you're standing by as they're filming the movie or the film. If something happens or they chip a set or they break something, standby painter come in, Ryan the painter come in. So I need to run in, stop the filming, I touch up the painting behind the actor's head or at their feet or whatever at the back of the set. Then I'll run out, then they'll start filming again. And action. So there'll be a standby painter, standby carpenter, whatever else to help keep the movie running. So then we've done a job 2021. To be honest, I was done with the films and I was going to move back to Scotland because I just got bored, basically. I got fed up, I was looking for something new. So I thought I'd do one standby to see how it goes. I'd done one in the past, I didn't enjoy it. But this time I ended up meeting some great people who I'm still good friends with on the sort of backstage sort of thing. So that was straight away, they were cool, and it was a Mark Wahlberg, Halle Berry film, which just come out recently called The Union, 2021, they filmed it. Only just come out. And Marky Mark is just a nice all-round, one of your own salt of the earth type guys. As his people. You've got Rastafari, you've got Big Ace, you've got Cowboy, Kowser, and you've got a load of other guys. The guy that dresses in a kilt, just that guy goes about, I can't remember his name, but he's just always in the Scottish garb. So it was nice to see him on set every day.
Yeah.
Just all these cool guys you can imagine Entourage, man. They're just cool, interesting guys, which made work exciting again. Going to work and just like chatting to these guys is good. So Mark and that's obviously working all the time, but he's always there and he's always friendly and he's always very hospitable. As you'd hope. Not all these movie stars are, but he was super cool. And there's a guy called Rasta Phil. Rasta Phil was like a record producer, sort of talent scout back in the 80s, early 90s. He done stuff for New Kids on the Block and a load of other guys. And I think he maybe found Marky Mark or he helped Marky Mark get where he is, or he introduced. He's a man that connects people. He likes to connect people to other people. So Rasta Phil was always the man on the floor on set. And whereas we were pitched out the back in our trucks, Rasta was always talking about the catering or whatever. And he'd come up and he was looking for certain stuff. He was looking for some things, green screen, like the film on green screen. He was making videos for himself at the time. So he was looking to get some green screen. I managed to get him a load of green screen. And the bond just happened there. It turned out he was a super cool dude, really down to earth. We're just chatting. He had a load of sisters. I've got a load of sisters. Just don't know, it's just hard to explain. Just bonded straight away. Just a really salt of the earth type guy. Considering his level of success and stuff he's done. But anyway, there'd be times I'd be on the set on the brush and I'm fucking got to go quickly, like the movie's waiting. Come on, Ryan, we're waiting on this. And Rasta would just jump on the brush with me. We'll both just be painting. I'm like, cheers, Rasta, and we'd be talking there, and just a super cool dude. But anyway, towards the end of the job, he's come out with a t-shirt Rasta has. He's come out with a t-shirt Rasta Phil, and I looked at it and I'm thinking, hey, who's doing your merch, Rasta? That's all right. It was an all right t-shirt. It was all right. But for me, I see the potential where it can be or what it can be. So I'm like, Rasta, who's doing your merchandise? I'd love to do one for you if you had the opportunity. He says, no problem, Ryan. He says, you do me a design, no problem. So I did. So I done a couple of designs, and then I handed them over, and he liked them, he loved them. He says, oh, I love it a lot, it's great. He said, I'm going to send it to my people, and whatever else. And to be honest, Mark, I'd heard it 100 times. Like, I heard it. In the end, I stopped trying to promote the work because I was just happy just giving it away. And people know I just give it away anyway. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy for them to get success from my work, basically. That happened back in the band days as well. Everyone was making money off my stuff but me. the View logos, the red one and stuff. Everyone was wearing a t-shirt, so I wasn't making a penny. But it's fine, it's all good. No, I'm just happy to share it. Picasso once said, learn what you're good at and give it away free. Right, so we'll stand by that for now. So anyway, I've done him his design. He loved it, and he says he's going to send it to people. So at the end of the job, he's like, Ryan, put your number on my phone. Keep in touch and whatever, great. I said, sure, Rasta, no problem. So in his phone, I put Ryan, obviously my name, and I put Painter, Ryan Painter. That was it. And that was my title on the job. So that obviously he would remember me from fucking the rigger or the plaster or whatever, Ryan Painter. That was it. So then time went by, whatever, we moved on, the job finished. I was meant to go over to Croatia. They were doing a lot of shooting over in Croatia, but I couldn't make it because I was moving house at the time, whatnot. So goodbye, God bless, Godspeed. Away they went, and then time went by, a few months went past, and I remember I still had these designs, and I thought, I'll maybe put them on my Instagram. So I messaged Rasta saying, how you doing, Rasta, blah, blah, blah. Any chance I could put my images up of you? Permission? He says, of course, permission granted. He says, haven't you spoke to Dan yet? So this guy called Dan. I says, no. He says, speak to Dan, phone Dan straight away, he's expecting a call. So I think I phoned him. I think I phoned the guy Dan George, respect Dan George, and there was no answer or whatnot. But anyway, I got a phone call back from a Canadian number, random Canadian American number. And I pick it up, like, what's going on? Hello? And they're like, hello, is that Ryan the painter? I'm like, hello, Dan. How are you doing? And that's basically where this new venture started. He was super keen with the stuff I'd done. He was really interested in obviously the backstory, what we just spoke about. And he was keen into hearing about the artwork that I've previously done for the View Boys, for Paolo Nutini, where I'm touched on. I've done a lot of work for Paolo over the years, 10 years, a poster I've done for Paolo this year. And he was keen to, I didn't have a website at the time, so he was keen for me to make a website, and he was happy to manage it and promote it over in Canada. So therefore, that's where Ryan the Painter website was born.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I'd start going by that, using that as my day-to-day. Like, I've always had tags and pseudonyms and alter egos and all that as a kid, but as an adult, I don't really like to call myself, don't know, like fucking Shadow or Blaze or what. So now Ryan the Painter just seems like it's all came around at the right time through the right people, and it seems like something that I need to now push forward and go forth.
Brilliant. So what have we got coming up then with that? Because I'm seeing you get an art exhibition this year.
So albeit I'm quite a private person, Matt. That's why it's taken so long for me to come and speak to yourself and that, and to go by Ryan the Painter as well. It could easily be mistaken as like an ego thing and that, but it's definitely not. Believe me, it's just the way it's happened. I thought I've got to push it because self-promotion, it's not going to promote itself. Basically, I've got to find a way to try and make it work. For me to tap back into this art thing, I've got to push this. And like up until I drank that pint, I believed I was an artist. And then for the past 10, 15 years, 20 years now, it's been whatever it's been, I've never really believed I was an artist. I've always been creative, and I've always felt creative, and I've always been good at what I do in that sense, but I've never felt the right to call myself an artist. Even though #1 album and all these posters and that, I just don't know what it is. It's like I never really believed in myself that much up until I met Rasta Phil. And I've got to say that, respect to Rasta and his team. Rasta gave me the belief in myself again. He gave me so much, I don't know, he gave me belief that it is possible for me to then achieve something from what is given to me naturally, what comes naturally to me. So moving forward, back to your question is, moving forward, the website at the minute is just basically a skeleton. That was just stuff that was on my phone. Ryan the Painter, fine artist and designer. Again, I don't believe I'm a fine artist and designer. I believe I'm a visual artist. I believe I can see and paint and do things from my mind and whatever's given from what I see basically.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually the website's going to get a freshen up. We're going to change the logos there. We're going to add, maybe fine tune some of the stuff, add some more stuff. We're going to add like a booking. The guys, Dan and his team, Matthew, are going to structure the website a bit better. So you can maybe book me to go and do some paintings here and there. I don't know, maybe some canvases, some cover art, I'm open to ideas, man. Film set stuff, graffiti work in the film set is always fun. It's nice to see it on the big screen. And then again, the goal for myself is to push, like you say, the exhibition. Maybe I'm going to try. We're in the studio at the minute. I've just got the studio working on some stuff here.
Yeah, I can see that in the background. It looks class. That Yoda.
mention these to them either. Don't let me forget, Matt. That's quite a big one. So I'm going to push that. Just do a load. I'm hoping to do a load of big paintings. You can't see it, but a load of big paintings. Maybe 9 or 10. Find a place to exhibit them. Get a load of cool people involved. Invite all my old pals, all my new pals, everyone, yourself included, whoever else is interested in coming. The door is open. Let's get the ball rolling again on this. Invite the press. Try and get someone to perform there maybe. Just get a buzz again about it if we can. We've done it back in 2007. I had an exhibition and the guys working closely with James Baird. He helped us a lot back in the day. We used to work together quite a lot. He arranged an exhibition in the Proud Gallery in Camden, which was massive at the time. Like, I don't know how he done it, to be honest, but I had 10 shitty wee paintings. It wasn't even that great back then. Well, to be honest, it was the best of my ability at the time. But looking back, it was like far from what I'm doing now. We had it set up there. The boys played an acoustic show, and I remember it being a success. For me, it was like I felt like a pivotal moment. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I felt like it was stepping stones towards greatness, but then as it does, as life does, I guess. It's a gamble. It's like life fluctuates. So then it went from there to there. But the exhibition was a fucking hit, and I think he was there. I think what's his name? Bonehead.
Right.
I think, and amongst others. So I'm just hopefully going to tap into that again this year. Find a cool space. So if anybody's got a cool space, an exhibition space that they're interested in using, I'd be happy to hear. Yeah. Other than that, we're working with, I keep forgetting, but we're working closely with the Canadians, so working closely with Rasta. He's got a load of cool ideas. He's starting to put some music again. He's just been given a TV channel. He's running a TV channel in Canada called, let me get this right, it's called Canada Worldwide, and you'll get that on the connecttoyourcity.com website. We're doing some logo work there. We're talking about doing some animation and cartoons surrounding Rasta in his past. He's introduced me to some big directors over there in Canada called Norman Evans, his name. I think he's got some ideas for storyboards and scripts and storyboards for Rasta story, Marky Mark's sort of story. And what was the other band back in the day? The band, I think he was close to the band. I don't actually know them, but
no.
There's a band back in the day called The Band. He's wanted to do a story about them. And someone else. Oh no, the terror attack, London terror attack. Yeah, hear the connection. Hear this is mad again. Have we got time for this? I'm not sure I'm going on.
Yeah. Well, I was going to come on to that at the end, so I
thought it's a connection there that I could probably wrap that back into there. So he's wanted to do a couple of storyboards and story scripts. So the future's looking good, and that's creatively in that sense. Aside from the movie stuff, also the movie stuff's looking good as well. We've just done
Supergirl, haven't you?
Sorry.
You've been working on Supergirl, haven't you?
So that's the one. I'm not sure if I suppose I could say that. I just can't probably tell you plots. But it's all good. It's all right. It's got a different name, like a fucking secret name, but it's all good. So post 2020, I've been doing a lot of my own stuff. Aside from construction, construction's like a 30-man strong team. And you go do the sets, flood the sets, do the work, move on, next job. So I'm coming up to like my 50th. It's been 15 years in these sets. And I'm coming up to like my 50th motion picture. Like it's quite a big jobs. A few small TV things, but mostly the big jobs. So now I've moved on to sort of looking after myself, doing the standbys, which is myself basically in charge of my own paint stuff and all me. And then now I'm doing like action vehicles, which is say action vehicles on set are like the Batmobile, fucking any vehicle on set, motorbikes, tanks, planes. Cinderella's Golden Carriage, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang would have been an action vehicle, or maybe that would have been a star, I don't know. But that's me running my own department, my own team, looking after myself, and I'm enjoying that. So, sorry, back to what you said we've just completed 3 months on that title, doing, I can't tell you about massive vehicles, humongous vehicles. The deal for me was meant to be 8 weeks job, 2 weeks prep, getting your head around it, how you're going to do it, ordering your stuff, working with designers, working with a production designer, Neil Lamont. He's done all the Harry Potters. He's right up there and a joy to work with. And then I need to do some sample boards to make sure they're happy with how this is going to look and whatnot. Actually, got a couple of sample boards there. So then that was the first 2 weeks. And then 6 weeks, it was meant to be 1 tank a week, full respray, full age, full everything on this. So then time went on, we're getting there 2 months had passed, we've not got a tank. I'm like, whoa, time's getting close. We're on the third month. They shoot the film. They start shooting in about a week and a half, I think. So I'm looking at the tanks and I'm thinking, okay, it's looking like it's not a tank a week, put it that way. It ended up being a tank a day they wanted. We had to fully chrome these tanks. No, actually, I can't tell you. We had to fully paint these tanks 4 times. 1 for the base colour, 2 for the breakaway stuff, which is a wax and a powder, and a few other techniques we use. Then we use a top coat paint, which we spray all over, and then you need to cut back, which is your 5th, maybe 6th process. You cut it back with loads of steel wool and different sandpapers and stuff to expose the underneath to make it look like 100-year-old, basically. And then you've got to add the bitumen. You've got to make these things look mean, basically. And we were given a day. They're 12-ton, these tanks. These ships, vehicles. They're 12-ton. And they're massive. You need to climb up and over them. It's a major undertaking. And it was meant to be just me doing them. But because of the weight of these things, carrying the parts and the wheels and stuff, I had to get one other. I could have got more, but I wanted to just keep it a close-knit team. So I got one other, Cy Taylor, respect to you, mate. And we smashed these things out one a day. Full, like, if you took it into a spray shop outside, you'd be looking at months' work, and we were doing them one a day. The production was super happy. The production director, the art director was super happy. The special effects team, everyone involved was super happy. The director, the main director, I can't remember his name, was super happy. And it was nice to see them on set. They're shooting these things, I can't tell you, but you need to watch it. But it's super exciting what they're doing with these things.
Sounds amazing, though.
That's incredible.
You can tell that it's gave you it's fun. It's you found yourself again.
Feeding my fire on that. It's fueling that. It gives me that interest. Whereas construction was getting a bit flat and a bit tedious. This is like, it fuels the fire. Like, it makes getting up and going to work. The hardest bit of the day is getting up, put it that way. It makes going to work a joy, a challenge. I take it on like I take on a graph commission. I love my graffiti, so it's like, it feels like a commission that I'm doing rather than a job.
Yeah, that all sounds brilliant. I'm looking forward to this exhibition as well. I'll definitely make an effort to come and see you, man.
For the exhibition, I'm going to try and mix the two. So I'm going to try and mix my special finishes that I've been doing along with the character work that I've been doing. I've not even started yet. I've got my empty canvas sitting there for my first painting. So it's going to be an experiment, basically, and I'm looking forward to it myself, mate.
And obviously, just we touched on it a wee bit. The London terror attacks. So, like, obviously, like, with the chaos of the view and all that at that point, and then you talk about some chaos within the kind of the film industry. So, did that kind of, when these kind of getting caught up in the terror attacks, how did that affect you, and were you kind of able to deal with it because you'd been like past experiences with kind of whirlwind
kind of? I guess it certainly. I'm guessing everything up to that point helped in that scenario, because you couldn't really expect what had happened. But growing up in Hulton, Dundee, we'd seen people slashed up and stabbed. When I was a kid, me and my mate Kate Elder, we were 7-8-year-old, and we were playing football in this like labyrinth type estate area, and we turned the corner and there was a boy slashed to ribbons there, like an older guy. I remember, I could see him now. He was cut. The guy was bright red for the face down. He was in a pool of blood, this thick blood. There was blood in the trees, like way over there, spraying his neck. And I remember, Matt, like, he was gargling, like, he was screaming, "Help me," and gargling through his throat. And I remember holding his neck. I can see it now visually. And we helped him, got the ambulance. And I remember the blood was that thick. But the Stanley blades, there was these Stanley blades laying about, like proper ones, about the flare. And I could see the blood was creeping up, but it hadn't gone over the blade. It was just creeping up. It was like thick. It was like, I don't know, gelatinous or what the word is. I can see it, I remember it, right? So I'd seen that as a kid. I'd seen people jumping for the multi-stories that I lived beside. We lived in the shadow of multi-stories, and people are always jumping. And we used to play football at the foot of these Maxwell Town Towers, Jamaica Square, and that. We used to play football there. So sometimes you go up and the boys would be like, "Yeah, there was another jumper last night." And because of the difference in the mezzanine level, they would jump off these 21 floors, land on the fence. The legs would land in the football bit where we were playing, and the top torso would land in the mezzanine. And these fences, back in the day, I think they were brick walls, but they changed them to fences. But these fences would stay mangled for weeks and months. There wasn't much money in the area. So we used to play football and all this fucking, these suicides and what was a normal thing. We've seen people climb out the front of the multi. I seen people before primary school. Our ladies was also a mental school. Anybody that went there could agree with that. There was guys climbing down the 21 floors, down to 11th, and he smashed the window, he threw down the gear, and there was police. Anyway, chaos. But going back to your question, so terrorist attack 2017. 2017, it was June the 7th, I think, maybe June the 8th, June the 7th, 2017. My birthday's June the 10th. We're going out for a nice meal. I thought we'll go to the Shard now and again. We're doing well, obviously, the career's going well. Let's go out, we'll treat myself, me and the family. My dad, my partner, my sister will go out for a meal in the Shard. Wine and dining, it's fantastic. We'll come out the Shard with a few pints in and merry. We've done a couple of bottles of wine and whatnot. It's great times. I'm jovial. And we got to the bottom of the Shard, and it was either go to King's Cross or it was go to Borough Market. Borough Market was 10 minutes. King's Cross was a train journey, a couple of stops. So I said, fuck, Mum, we'll go to Borough Market, let's go. So walk along Borough Market and change. We went to the first bar on the left, which is tobacco or something like I can't remember, tobacco, like a chocolate pint bar, chocolate beer or something weird. Something fancy anyway. So we go in there, we sit down, I'm on my first pint, blah, blah, blah. My sister notices someone at the window. She's like, what's going on over there? Commotion. I'm like, what? Fucking so there is. So I've got another pint, I'm sitting drinking another pint, and it's hard to describe it. The only way to describe it is like a zombie. For me, this is the way I see it. It's like a zombie apocalypse, or like there's a dinosaur around the corner. There's something happening around there that people are fleeing, running. I remember this woman was dragging her kid and looking back, like running. This kid was being dragged. It's basically feet flapping in the air. I'm not even joking. Fear. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, so I'm trying to mentally paint a picture what's around the corner, and obviously my mind jumps to fucking dinosaurs and zombies, and I can't help it. But so I'm drinking my pint, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, fucking hell. So I go back to my table. I'm like, something is happening over there. Weird enough. Just before this, I remember I was smoking outside, right at the entrance to Borough Market, before I seen the commotion. I was smoking on the phone with my sister, chatting, blah, blah, blah. So we go back in, and then I get my second pint, I think. And as I'm walking towards the doors to look over the door, I just see a guy across the road, and he just goes, bang, slaps on the floor, slap. There's no way to describe it, actually, slap, bang on the floor, and he's screaming, holding his back. Help, 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 I've been stabbed. And I'm like, what the fuck? And to me, it just felt like, it honestly felt to me like the streets emptied. It was weird. Honestly, it was weird. It was like the streets emptied. All of a sudden, there was no one in these fucking streets. But this guy's laying across the road. I was in one pub. He was at the corner of another pub. There's doors on the corner, and he was just spread eagle in the front, holding his back, screaming. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Because we've seen the stabbings and that in the past, I just thought it was a pub fight. I thought he'd come out the pub and just fell. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, boy needs help. So as I'm going to go out the door, people are screaming, don't go out there, no, screaming, don't go out there. What English accents, whatever. I'm like, what? The boy needs help, I need to fucking help. And I've got I remember on birthday, I got a nice jacket, 3/4 length leather. Oh, it's beautiful it was. I thought, like, well, I'm darking that up for one. So I took that, I folded that up, put it there. And I've gone across the road, and now there's another woman there helping him. And he's screaming, help, help, I've been stabbed. But again, it was just like, you're all good, mate, you're fine, you're going to be fine. It's all good, it's just a cut, it's just a scratch. It's fine, mate, it's all good. I'm like, shit, okay, right, what did I do? I can see the blood, I can see it, but it's fucking the back with jumper, it's like black now, I can see it pumping it, like, whoa. So I run in the pub. And say, look, the boy outside's been stabbed. The boy's been stabbed, and so I've run in the bar to say the boy needs help, and I remember the bar lady looked at us and laughed like I was an idiot, like fucking, like, okay. So I'm like screaming at him now, the boy's been stabbed, he needs help. So I've jumped over the bar, jumped into the back fucking canteen, like the food area, it was all steels and that, I remember. And I'm looking around for like dish towels or cloths or anything, and all I can see is this blue roll, the blue fucking tape. I had a blue kitchen roll stuff.
Yeah.
So I've run out, and again, I'm still like, I'm not want to get near the boy because I don't know what's happening. Again, it's still just like a knife fight, whatever. I'm like, there you go, mate, just feeding him blue roll. You're going to be all right, mate, you're going to be all right. Bang, bang, bang. More people are gathering. So as he's screaming like you're not heard, not screaming. The ambulance comes in the corner, I can hear it. I'm like, here, mate, you're all right. What's your name? Mitch, you're all right, mate. Ambulance is here, mate. The ambulance is here, don't you worry. The ambulance has come past. Whoosh, gone straight past them. Ambulance has gone straight past them, straight up to the bridge, obviously where the chaos is. 11 people have been run over. So then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, whoa, he's actually in danger now, the boy. It's like, whoa, so now I've dropped into my knees and I'm like trying to help him now. My dad, that's come out. No, my dad's on the wound. I can see the wound is like a wee 45-degree, like a wee flap just on his back, just pumping. Black. black blood's pumping at his back. So I'm speaking to him, just Mitch, keep talking, man. Just keep talking, man. He's going in and out of consciousness, man. He's fading, coming back. And he's like, phone. He's got this big massive phone. I remember. He's like, phone my wife, phone the kids. I'm dying. He slammed his phone. I'm like, Mitch, you're not dying. Come on, mate. You're good. I kept swearing. I think it was obviously because I was getting a bit adrenalised as well. I kept swearing, effing this and effing that. And my dad's like, stop swearing. I'm like, Dad, fuck the boy. That boy's dying. And so it's all kicking off anyway. My dad's hands are covered in blood, I remember it. And then obviously my sister and my partner's on the phone. Chaos. No, everyone's phoning the police at the time. So there must be hundreds of people in the area from the bridge to the Borough Market phoning the police. So pandemonium. So then as we're dealing with this guy on the floor, gunshots start ringing out. Bum, 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 cracks. There's no way it's cracks, it's firecrackers. Crack. And because it was like in the Borough Market, it's all sheltered, covered way, the noise of this thing, Mark, was like just fireworks right next to you. Bang, 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 bang. Machine gun fire. Bang, 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 bang. And I'm fucking talking to the guy and I'm looking up thinking, this is going to be on the news. I'm like, that's guns. This is going to be on the news. So again, back in the room, I'm like, fucking mate, you're going to be all right. I'm still trying to think what's going on with the gunfire. I'm like, fuck, this is getting serious. Never once thought terror. No one thought terrorists, a knife man or three guys murdering fucking 15 people. And we're hard in the middle of it. So we're helping the guy, Mitch. Then his mate comes sliding over. Mitch, oh! And his eyes are wide, mate. His eyes are like fucking bin lids. He's obviously seen it. He's been there when it's happened. And I'm like, use mate. Talk to him. He knows your voice. Talk to him. So they're talking amongst themselves, but the guy's in shock. One of the guys just froze. His eyes are wide and he's just froze. So his eyes are wide and he's froze. And I'm like trying to get them to talk to each other as the Mitch is blacking out, like faint, going sleepier basically. So as I'm dealing with this guy, somebody's come up on the right-hand side, like quite aggressively, banged into me as I'm on my knees. Like, and I'm looking at this guy like, oh, instant rage. I'm like, how fucking dare you? And as I look up, slowly, I can see it now. I look up, I see his jeans. As I'm going up his jeans, I see the cuffs on his jeans. I'm like, whoa, he's undercover. Then I see his wee badge on his belt, and I'm like, well, looking up. And he's holding his hands like this, man. I'll stand up for this. It's like this. He's just swaying a bit above me. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's just, I see the droplets of blood. Bap, all around me. And it took me back to that when I was a kid, mate, when the guy got slashed up. I could see that thick blood again. And this is like, his nose is dark. It's like every finger is coming out his fist. He's been stabbed in the fist. I think he was an undercover policeman. He got a machete to the face. But now he's dripping all over, like, round me and round my feet, round the fucking everywhere. And I'm like, whoa, that's when for me, I'm like, this is fucking serious, man. You're going to end up getting butchered here. So then that was like a young policewoman came running up. And she slid up to the guy, Mitch, who I had no care for. I'm like, no, trying to save this guy. Everyone is. Like, it's now become our job to save him. Like, we're fully committed to trying to help this guy. But this policewoman's just come up and she's not doing anything, man. She's just looking a bit like this. She's, again, her eyes are wide like bin lids. And I'm like, what are you fucking doing? I'm like, do something. Everyone's angry. I'm like, do something. Help the guy. But she's aware. Well, obviously, she's aware there's 3 knife men on the run. So she's keeping her lips a bit, in my opinion. She's on alert for herself. Like, she's not even looked at the guy on the floor. So then temper's getting high, and then a medic's come running over. He's like, guys, I'm a medic. He says, what did he say? He says, I've had a drink, but I'm a medic. He says, we need to turn him over now. He says, this could be an exit wound, because it was only like a wee flap.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of blood, though, was surreal, mate, honestly. Again, So anyway, so we're all turning him over. Turning this guy covered in blood. Turning him over, and the screams he's made. I never heard screams like it. Imagine, like, just the only thing you could put that down as death screams of death, mate. Like, just somebody being, it's hard to explain, but the guy was screaming bad, and he's turned over, and then the medic check, and he says, right, he's fine. That's not an exit wound. It's just the actual wound is at the back. So now he's aware that's the wound. We need to stop the blood. And I remember him sort of turning his nose up with a blue roll. He's like, what is this? Like, what is this? Obviously useless at the time, but for me, it was just fucking the first thing that was there.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is when it's all, everyone, the police have turned up, and they're like, everyone's got to get in the basement. So we got put in the basement in this bar. Everyone's getting angry with each other. Got put in the basement. The cell of the bar, bang, bang, bang. But I'm still half pissed and still half jovial and think, what the fuck? Come on, the night's still young. This is my birthday. Like, what? Honestly, that's how I felt. So everyone's got put down in the basement, and I've creeped back up. Just stupid, really. I wasn't a terror attack to me. It was just like something had happened in an event. Nothing was shocking basically in them days, and I suppose it's still nothing is shocking because of the childhood we had, where I grew up, and obviously with the band and all that, and obviously even with the film stuff as well. It's all surreal. Everything's surreal in life, I guess. So So we got put in the basement, and I creep back up, and I'm like, I got to get my pint. So I'm down in my pint. I'm in a cheeky wee mine sweep or whatever's there, and then I seen the SWAT team. Honestly, Marty, I seen the SWAT team. Like, oh man, it was like someone at Call of Duty, and I shot myself. I almost dropped my pint in my hand, but they were like 4 of them. I've got pictures. I'll send you all this, right? I've got pictures of these guys. What do you call it? Like sweeping the street and fucking in order with their guns, and they point the gun in the bar. That I'm the only person in the bar because everyone else is downstairs. So I'm like, hands up there. Whoa, sorry boys. Whoa, so I creep back down the stairs. So as I creep back down the stairs, in the papers it says the gunshots were only 50 bullets in 3 minutes. The boys were dead, right? If the police were on scene, it was 3 minutes and the thing was done, right? Nonsense. That's not what happened. God knows what happened with them in the corner, but we were in the cellar for 25, 30 minutes, and the gunshots kept ringing off. Bam, bam, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what the fuck are they shooting up there? It sounded like the Wild West. 20 minutes in, still shooting. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So anyway, we're all being evacuated, right? Okay, the bar lady, poor girl, she's only young. She's trying to manage this whole, she's now in charge of the whole pub that's trapped in the basement. She's now trying to keep everyone calm, and she's shitting herself as well. And everyone's whimpering and crying and whatnot. And I was recording all this. I recorded it all, but only caught snippets of it for some reason. But anyway, I've been evacuated. Next weekend, the fucking SWAT boy, I'll send you this, the SWAT boy puts the door open. And he stood there all in black, like in a silhouette, and there's a guy stood behind him. And he's like, on 3, we're going to move. 1, 2, 3, we've all got to run. There's bombs in the area, there's explosions going to go off any second now. We're like, what the? Right, what the hell? So I'm just drinking what I can, while I can. Like, fuck, we're going to die with these or whatever. Go, we've got to run. So then everyone's move. SWAT team are sort of protecting me as we run out the area. My dad's got a bad leg, and obviously he's like, how old are you? He's been 60 odd then. So he's limping. So as he's stopping for a breather, the police are grabbing him by the scruff of the neck and like fucking throwing him. And now I'm getting annoyed by that. Now I'm getting angry at the policeman, and my dad's getting angry for me, getting angry at the policeman, and tensions are high, man. Everyone's stressed. Honestly, everyone's stressed. So as we're walking along, we're trying to stop people from going in that direction. We just still don't know what's happened. All we know is it's terror and there's bombs in the area, possibly. People have been stabbed. So anyway, we finally get in a taxi. We walk through Borough Market to Trafalgar Square. Pure pandemonium. We're finally getting a taxi and we put the news on. Boom, it's on every radio channel, every mass murder, 11 people killed, however, 40 injured, blah, blah, blah. Borough Market. So I'm like, wow. So I went home, I was up all night watching it, seeing what was going on, this, that, and the next thing. Already straight away that night, there was people in America making up conspiracy theories or finding potential conspiracy theories or whatnot. And I'm all for a conspiracy theory. I'm open to all ideas about everything. But in this fucking topic, I was there, and it's just, come on, man, fucking dad's still covered in blood in it. It was insane. But anyway, so we're going home, and I stayed up all night watching it. Again, I never felt like it bothered me that much the next day. I never felt traumatized by it. I felt like, what's the word? I felt like, I don't know, it was like, I don't know, not excited as, but I like sort of like, I woke up with like a, I don't know, like, but still buzzing, I guess. It's only like, it was like buzzing. It was like an inside sort of, wow, what's, like, I can't believe I'm involved in that. You read about it all the time, but to be involved in it was something different. So then I went back into work on Monday, like nothing had happened, which was fine with me. I told the story and that, and obviously in work you get people like, oh, I would have done this, no, I would have just done that, I would have done that, like whatever. But then we found out my dad went back to work as well, and a couple of weeks later he was speaking to somebody, and everyone was caught up, all the boys, my sister and that was hysterical. But we found out weeks later that my dad was speaking to somebody, and they says, oh, my mate was involved in that. And they says, oh, really? Oh, we were involved and we helped the guy. He says, oh, my mate was stabbed in the back, and they punctured his lung and broke 3 of his ribs. And I'm like, no way, what was his name? He says his name was Mitch.
Right.
Like in a scary sort of full circle, it was the guy that we helped.
Yeah.
And we found out that he survived. He survived and whatnot.
Oh,
but
that's brilliant. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we come back out the pub, he was gone. So we thought he did. Up until then, we thought he was gone. But then after that, there was people who were helping people then were getting stabbed in the back of the neck, stabbed in the back. Or people were eating their food and they were getting their heads pulled back, throat cut. It was like horrible, horrible stuff going on.
And that could easily have been you. You know what I mean? When you were helping that boy.
Exactly. Yeah. So we either just missed them, we either caught the aftermath. Like we were on the pub right next to the opening of the market, so we think they ran. When I seen the commotion, they must have run in there. And so that if they took a left, it would be an another path. Mm. So we were just getting the overspill of people coming out, screaming, hysterical, gunshots. Just an apocalypse. That's what it's like. The streets were blue, the pavements were red. Like, it was just chaos. There was tears. There was just pandemonium. But also after that, there was guys that helped. There was guys that were helping people ended up on a terrorist watch list because they got converted. There was a guy called Wolf London Bridge or someone. He was a Millwall fan. The Chelsea boys, the terrorists had Chelsea t-shirt on or something. But he ended up getting slowly converted and stuff. And anyway, I became obsessed with this and just kept reading into it. And I still am interested by it and how people get radicalised in that and like what drives them today, what they do basically. But going back to, so that happened, whatever, moved on. Been, how long has it been? I've never really spoken about that, to be honest. This is the first time I've actually put it on record as well. And that's going back to 2017. So we're nearly at 8, 9, 10 years now. But anyway, so full circle. We'll go back to the Marky Mark job, 2021. Again, we meet Rasta, we meet all his crew, his entourage, all great. I'm now in good contact with Rasta. We're working well together. He's just one of your own. We're getting on great. Both like certain things. And he introduces me to the guy Norman Evans. Norman Evans is a director in Canada. He's wanting to do storyboards and scripts, which I touched on. But he tells me one of his storyboards that he wants to do is about the terror attack in Manchester, in London, and specifically London Bridge. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm interested. So I'm speaking to him. He says his brother was also there. His brother was a shock doctor, Dr. Dov Benyakov Kurtzman, I believe. He was a rabbi. He was a general in the army. He was high up in the army. He's a very skilled individual mentally. He's like, he could help people through their traumatic. Basically, when things of trauma happen, he's there to help you. Basically, he could help you calm your mind and stuff. He's just a man, basically, all around. So he's wrote a book about the terror attacks that happened, the 3 of them in London and in Manchester, and it's called Mind Over Terror.
Right.
Mind Over Terror. So I've been speaking to him. We've been speaking to him quite a bit, back and forward. And we want to work together and put all the story onto, well, basically into a feature film. I think they want to put it down at a storyboard, story script. They want to hear my side of things as well as Dove's side of things, because he was there as a sort of a medic, a paramedic, like a psychological paramedic, I guess he called himself. He set up a tent. He was dealing with people with instant trauma, helping them, like, just pure shot. I was all right to them. I felt all right. I'm not saying I've got always got free. I've probably got some sort of PTSD somewhere, but
yeah,
like on the face of things, I'm all right, like, I think. Whereas people are like, trauma changed, we're gone. Do you know what I mean? I probably had my trauma back in the day. My trauma.
well, that's what I was going to say. You're probably the trauma you had when you left the tour and all that. You drank that pint. That's probably there's no more change in you.
No, exactly, mate. So here we are. What you see is what you get now. But so that was that's what felt like it was. That's what, again, it's like the way the world works, I think. And it's only recently, upon 2020, where everyone suffered, it was a change of mindset. I changed my mindset completely. I thought, like, I can't keep going on the way this is going on, because I'm just a slave to the wage. I'm just stuck in this Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 stuff. I'm not really creating anymore the way I want to be creating. I've got a gift, I've got a talent, a skill, whatever you want to call it. I just need to find the right people. I just need to get in the right circles where people are going to value this work as I value it. Makes sense, kind of like.
Yeah.
They can see it's worth. I just need to be in the right circles where people see it's worth for what it is, basically.
And that's what it seems to be now with this boy that obviously believes in you, and you get
Rasta,
you know what I mean? So that's probably kind of takes you back to what you had at the start of the view, and it's that same kind of grit.
And just touching on that, Matt, also with the standbys, I find not many people like the standbys because there's a lot of standing about all day. You're just waiting. You might not even get the call to go on set, or you might get 20 calls, 10 calls a day. It's very varied in the day to day. But because I've got my own thing going on, I do my own drawings on my iPad and that, I could maintain my day. But what I get for the standby, and I think about this a lot, it's the same as what I get for being on tour back then. And I say that to the boys now. I say, what? Because you're loading in the gear each day, you're loading out the gear each day, you're waiting on the stars, i.e. the band back in the day. You're catered for, you're like surrounded by people you enjoy. Like, it's just, it feels like, honestly, it takes me back to being on tour. And that's why I enjoy the standbys. And then meeting Rasta and stuff, he's got his own tour stories and he's like knows roadies and stuff. And it just felt like it was all meant to be in. And that terror connection as well. It's just like, it's just bizarre. It's like bizarre the way it's come from. It's come from nothing to where it is now and where it can be and where it's going, hopefully.
Yeah.
To me, the man Rasta of his, he's famous amongst famous people. That's what he's known as. But he's like you or me, mate. He's just down to earth, and the belief I've got to say this, the belief he's got in any creative individual is phenomenal. It's like, the way I describe it is like he believes in me and obviously others the way your parents would. Like he knows his art, he knows good art from bad art. He appreciates nice stuff. He appreciates. He's open to ideas. He appreciates everything creatively. He's just like, you couldn't ask to meet a better person, to be honest, and to talk.
Pass him on to me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, to be honest, Matt. To be honest, mate, I was speaking to him last night. We were having a good chat about what's going to happen next, and I told him about the podcast. And he says he's willing to put it up on the Canada network. He's going to put it up in Canada worldwide, and he's going to help obviously promote your site as well off the back of this.
Wow.
Because he's happy to do so, because you're promoting him. I guess we're promoting him.
Brilliant. Well, a shout out to Rasta
Phil, RP Entertainment. Big up Dan George, PCN. Big up Matthew Kemery. Big up Mark Wahlberg and all the boys. Big up the View boys. Big up Doherty and the Baby Shambles. Big up everyone that was involved back then. Everyone from the mums and the dads to the sisters and the brothers. Kim and Dawn, Kyle's sister, took me in as their own. Like, as a kid, they basically took me in as their own, and that's how I sort of bonded with Kyle as well. Before he was in any band, he was up in the loft recording me songs to himself. Just wee ditties used to play to himself. He was upstairs and I used to listen in there. So thanks to everyone. Big up Crazy Mo and Crazy Mo's family. He's got a great family. Andy, Dawn, young Amy. They've all got kids now. Everyone's grown up. It's been 20 years, but everyone was a part of that time. Like everyone was. It was like a spark of everyone at the same time. I think it made it what it was. Like given the creative covers, you get what I'm trying to say. It was
yeah, totally. Obviously, the last bit of the podcast, God Time for Heroes, asked my guest to pick 4 heroes to come for dinner. Whether your heroes and what would you cook for them? Obviously, we've been on quite a bit, so you don't need to kind of divulge too much into it, but just maybe 4 heroes. Why are your heroes?
Four heroes. Like, let's see. Like, first and foremost, first hero, we'll start with Kyle. It's got to be done. Kyle's obviously got me to places where I'd never. He opened doors for me back then. I was doing exhibitions of Rankin the photographer with Gibson guitars. I was the face of his music, basically. I was the cover art of their music, sorry. He had ideas in his head that I was putting down on paper. So first hero, Kyle, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
Second hero, let's see. I'll do 3, I guess, because I'll struggle for 4. Second hero, let's see. We'll go Doherty, the mighty Doherty, because again, that was the second leg in the journey. Actually, we'll go 4, I guess, because there was not 2. Doherty again helped me out massively. Helped me out to, I don't know, what did he help me out? Helped me out at a good time and opened my mind to, I don't know, the surrealism of what he is.
Yeah, see, it's surrealism in life, isn't it, really?
Let me into his house, basically. So there we go. Second. Number three, let's see. Number 3, who are we going to go? Number 3, we'll go my dad. Can we put my dad on there?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's put my dad on there. Everyone loves their father. And I'm grateful and thankful that I've still got my parents. So let's say my dad.
What's your dad's name so we can give him a shout out?
Desi, Del Boy.
Brilliant. Del Boy, if you're listening.
Del Boy McPhail, he's the man. But again, he obviously he made me the man that I am today. So, and I'm proud of him and I'm proud of me. So there we go. That's the third hero, I guess. Off the top there. Fourth one, it's got to be Rasta Phil.
Brilliant.
It's got to be the main man, Rasta Phil. He's opened many doors again already, and the future's bright. I think he's a man of my heart.
Brilliant, man. Cracking bunch of heroes. And the one thing with that is we spoke about them all the way through the podcast as well. They've all had a good bit of time.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice way to round it up, I guess.
It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, Ryan. Obviously,
no, thank you. I really
4 years in the making, or whatever, maybe 5 years actually. But good things come to those that wait.
And that's been a pleasure. And it feels right to put this out now. So thanks to you and thanks to everyone that's took the time to listen this far.
Mm-hmm. Exhibition sometime this year, we're hoping. I'm really intrigued about a film about the terror attacks. That would be really good as well at some point. I'll post all your links. Is there a link to your website and that?
Let's go. RyanThePainter.com is the main website. We've got the Instagram, Ryan the Painter, _Ryan the Painter _ balaclava and glasses is the image. Feel free to add me up. Stay tuned. Come and have a look around. If you get bored, leave at any time. Honestly, it's on you. But I appreciate your time and your effort. Let's do it. 2025. Thank you very much, Mark. You've been a star. You are the man. Keep in touch as well, brother.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Time for Heroes podcast. If you would like to get in touch, the best way is on the Facebook page, Time for Heroes podcast, or on Instagram at Time for Heroes podcast, or Twitter at Time for Heroes P1, or drop me an email at timeforheroespod@gmail.com. You'll find Time for Heroes on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google and Amazon. Please leave a review where you can, share with others, and more importantly, enjoy.
Chance of